Wasn't going to tell this story. I low-key wasn't going to tell this story. I low-key was not going to tell this story. But you guys, I have decided to tell this story because you guys should know what's going on in the dating world. At least from my own point of view. You know? It's just relationships nowadays, like going on dates, yeah? I'm not even going to lie. It just doesn't make sense to me anymore. I can't even lie to you guys. Okay, so basically, you know, I'm a pretty well-known guy in my city, like I know a bunch of people, So because of that, I know a lot of women. I'm not even going to lie to you. Cool women, good women, bad women, So I encounter a lot of interesting situations. There's this one gym girl that always pops up on my she would always pop up on my Instagram, you know. Very, very pretty. Like when I say that she's fine, like this girl is so fine, bro. And like I had been wanting to talk to her for a while, but then in my mind I'm like, you know what? Let me respect myself, Like at the time I wasn't like now I'm locked in with my fitness, Like I'm locked in with my goals and everything. But truth be told, thing about like me approaching girls and fitness is that like on one hand I want to approach, like I want to, but on the other hand, if I'm not on my shit like they are, at the back of my mind I'm going to be like, nah, like she's not going to want me. And 9 out of 10 times it's true. Fit people want fit people, and most people want fit, attractive people, and that's just the truth of the matter. But anyways, I started to lock in on my fitness goals, and you know, it's crazy. She like I texted her, you know, at first, and I'm texting her, and I'm like, yo, like we should do something sometime, But then I just never followed up with her. The first time I texted her, I just didn't follow up with her because at the back of my mind, I'm like, like I'm not really, like I'm not locking in with my fitness right now. Like I don't have, like I'm not locked in. You feel me? And then I said, you know what? So when I lock in with my fitness, I'm going to try and spin the block. I'm going to try and text her again. So I end up texting her like, hey, hi, I spin the block. I would love to, take you out sometime. Like, would you like to go bowling? And she's like, yes, of course. Like, why not? Like, she shot like, yes. She's like, yes, we can go bowling. So we end up going bowling. But let me tell you where, like, what just really pissed me off, bro. You know, I hate that the guy has to pay for the first date. I genuinely hate it because the thing about girls is like a girl can agree to go on a date with you and not even find you attractive, not even want to have anything to do with you. They can just say yes. Be it a dinner date, an activity date. They could just say yes, which is so annoying, because in my mind I'm like, me personally, I would much rather have a girl ghost me, or just straight up tell me, nah, I'm not interested, but thank you. Like that is much better. But then allowing me take you out and pay for the date pisses me off. But anyways, let's get into the date. We go bowling and I'm cracking jokes, I'm doing the jester shit, the shit that guys have to do. You have to make her laugh, you have to do this, you have to do that. And if I'm being honest, like it's like at the back of my mind I'm like, this shit is a piss off. Like I hate that I have to do all of this just to, get a girl to like me. And that was just going through my head. But we end up bowling and doing whatever. And when we were done, of course, I whooped her ass. But when we were done, we sat down, and we were just talking, getting to know each other, and yeah, And I told her a bit about myself. She makes content as well. So in my mind, I'm like, we can relate on that. And it was cool. One thing led to another, and we ended up talking about sex and relationships and things like that. Me personally, I didn't think that conversation, like, I didn't think we were going to have that conversation, but I find that, like, I guess it's just like an adult thing now. Like, if you take someone else on a date, even on the first dates, you talk about sex. Me personally, I wanted to, like, just enjoy the bowling. But anyways, I'm happy that we ended up talking about sex and relationships because, bro, the things that she told me about herself just had me like, that's really annoying. First, we spoke about, like, me, like, like, she asked me, like, what do I like, you know, like, what am I looking for? And I told her that, ideally, like, I want a girlfriend, I want companionship, you know, um, like, I'll straight up, I'm like, I want something, like, I want I want something. I don't want something meaningless, Like, I wouldn't spend. I think I spent $100 that day. This is just a sidetrack thing, but I spent money for bowling. I Ubered her to the bowling place, and I Ubered her back home, and I also bought some food for myself. I spent $100 that day. Let me tell you why it hurts that I spent $100. Um, Nah, sorry, I'm mixing shit up. Let's talk about what's it called? Let's talk about, bro. I'm tripping. Let's talk about, like, what she asked me. Anyway, she asked me, like, what do I want? And like I said, I wanted a girlfriend, and I'm like, what do you want? And then she said that, yeah, like, she wants a husband, she wants to settle down, blah 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 blah. I think she's like 22 or 20. She's 23 or something like that, like 22 or 23. And then I'm not like, okay, Fairs, like, what's your type, And my man, I'm like, I'm expecting her to say, like, athletic, tall, Mind you guys, I'm only 5'9", so, I'm not the tallest guy. But I'm expecting her to say, like, money, like the things that girls typically say. And I'm like, like, I would have been like Fairs if she said any of those things. But she ended up saying that she's into older guys. Mind you, I'm 25, she's like 22, 23. So once she said that she was into older guys, I'm like, if you're into older guys, why did you let me take you out on this date? Like, why? Why did you let me spend my money and take you out on this date? Like, that was what was going through my head, bro. And my man, I'm like, bro. I'm like, okay, that's my money going down the drain. Might as well just enjoy the rest of the dates, get to know who she is, whatever. And I'm not like, okay, bet, like, you like older guys, cool. How much older are we talking? You guys, she said that she's into guys that are 55, 60, she's into old men. And I'm like, what? Then why are you here? Like, bro, you're going, like, your type is guys that are double my age. Why are we here? That was what was going through my head. But I was like, oh yeah, like, I don't judge. Like, it's cool. Like, like, everyone likes what they like. I'm judging like crazy. And I'm judging like crazy because what do you mean you like 50-something-year-old men and you're fucking 20-something, 22, 23? And I'm not like, why? And then she told me that she's into these older guys because they can provide stability, But she said that the thing about the older guys is, like, they play too much and they're not serious, and sometimes they can be immature like the younger guys. And in my mind, I'm like, okay. 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 You feel like, in my mind, I'm like, bro, so, okay, you don't want love, you just want stability. Okay, best, I hear you. One thing leads to another, and we end up talking about children. Me personally, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think I want kids. With the way the world is going, I think I'm cool off kids. Like, if you want kids, cool, I respect it. Like, if that's what you want to do, calm. But me personally, I do not think I want children. But I lied and I said, since we were already lying to each other, I lied and I said I think I want like 2, 3 kids. I'm like, what about you? She told me that she wanted, how many kids did this girl say she wanted? I think she said that she wanted like 6 or 7 children or something. And I said, okay, you want 6 or 7 children? And she's like, yeah, like I want a big family. And I'm like, oh, do you want to live in Canada, Jamaica? Like she's like, oh, I want to live in Canada. So in my head, I'm like, okay, like 7 children living in a country like Canada. Mind you, she said that she didn't want to work. She just wanted the man to pay all the bills, and that's why she's going for older men, because she wants the guy to pay all the bills and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool, like, but 7 children with a guy that's in his 50s or 60s. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, who's going to tell her that this man might die, before the children are 10 years old? This man might not even live long enough to give her the 7 children. Like, who's going to tell her? Who is going to tell? Like, and in my mind, I'm like, this is so, like, delusional. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. I think that, like, that was my last straw. Like, that was my, that was my 13th reason. I'll probably tell you guys about my 13th reason another time. But I think that that's when I just realized that, like, a lot of girls out there are just here to play you. Like, straight up. Like, one thing, like, I don't like talking about, like, relationships and shit like that, because I feel like there's a lot of negativity going on around in terms of, like, dating and everything. But then after that, I was just like, no, like I always used to think that I was the problem. I always used to be like, how can I improve myself? Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe these girls are right. Maybe I'm the one that's fucked up. But no. No. When you actually listen to, like, some people and, like, their view of life, and you actually, like, you can actually sit down and be like, no, I am not fucked up. They are the ones that are fucked up. And it took me a long time to realize this, and I'm happy that, like, I realized it. I'm happy. At the end of the day, I listened to everything that she had to say, and I Ubered her back home, and I just never texted her again, bro. Cause she was like, oh yeah, we can be friends, and we can make videos together and blah blah blah. I'm like, no. In my, like, old me would have been like, you know what, I'll be your friend. Old me would have accepted friendship, because at least she gets to stay. But no, now it's like, no. It's like, no. And like, she ended up unfollowing me on Instagram, and, like, she's one of those weird people that, like, unfollow you but don't remove you as a follower. So in my mind, I'm like, you see, like, inherently, like, when it comes to core moral values, we're not even aligned. You are just a fucked up person. And I haven't been on a date ever since then. I think that was, like, my last straw for, like, dates. Like, I just told myself that, yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to take any girl out on a date anymore. Like, I don't think I'm going to do that. Like, I've also been, like, bro, I've also been the guy that, like, the babe, I didn't have to do too much. I've had girls that were in love with me. I've had girls that I've loved. And, I know that, like, I didn't have to put them through all these dates and all these tests and all these crazy things that girls put you through, or some guys put you. I've seen both sides. And since I've seen both sides, I just told myself that now, like, I'm not going to do all these, like, I'm not spending $100 on a date. I recently went out. Last weekend I went out. And, I went to, like, a party. And a girl saw me. And just one time, she came up to me. She told me that she thought I was attractive. She thought I was cool. Blah, 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 blah. She got my Instagram and, we're texting. and I'm not giving her a hard time. I'm not going to give her a hard time. You know, she's a good looking woman. I won't. And if I didn't have any interest, I just wouldn't. I would be like, yo, I'm sorry, like, you know, I'm not interested. You know, I have a girlfriend. Like, I'll lie or some shit. You know, like now I've just realized that, like, bro, as a guy, you're better off letting the girl come to you. All that chasing shit is like in the past. Like when you chase, like, I don't know, you just end up you feel like a dickhead, you know. And thing is, your intuition is going to tell you, bro. Like you're going to feel it here, like you're going to feel it like in your stomach, in your chest, that yo, I'm chasing right now, and you know, I feel like this is not what I'm meant to do. You know, they're out here chasing this babe, you know. Meanwhile, the babe is chasing another guy that's focused on his bag, that's focused on his success, and you are just there looking like an idiot. So, with that being said, bro, like that was the dates, and that was what happened, bro. But anyways, that is why like I have retired, bro. That's why I've retired. But you guys, I hope you enjoyed the story time. If you want more story times, let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe.